routine.
Okay, anyway, on that note, welcome a good Erev Shabbos from Eretz Yisrael from Yerushalayim Kodesh, and we're up to Mem Zayin Amid Aleph. Mem Zayin Amid Aleph. We're continuing to discuss the Kivtzei Atzeres, which were the two shlamim, which are Kodesh Kedoshim, that matted the Shtei Lechem, right? The sort of two Kivtzei Atzeres they brought. Uh, just let's go reiterate. What's the ikar? Is it the keves that's the ikar and the lechem? Machloikis Benana says it's the keves. Rabbi Akiva says it's the lechem. But hakol moedim, everyone agrees. Once you shecht the keves, then they're gibundin, they're tied together, and they would be ma'akiv, right? So if you would lose the lechem, you'd have a problem. Okay, so now, Tan Rabbanan, kivtzei atzeres, ein mikachin es alechem. When does the lechem get mutter to be eaten? When? After the shchita. After the shchita, right? That's what Rashi says. Kaddish es alechem mutter ba'achila ketzad. Shochton lishman v'zarku damen shaloi lishman v'zarku lishman v'zarku damen lishman. If you do the shchita correctly and the zrika correctly, kiddush halechem, then the lechem's kodesh. Shochton shaloi lishman. V'zarkun domin shaloi lishman, loy kiddush alechem. Because since the shchita was shaloi lishma, it's not going to be magdish the lechem. Shachtel lishman. Here's the interesting case: you shechted it lishma, therefore it should matter the lechem. However, v'zark domin shaloi lishman, you did a zrika shaloi lishman. So in the two-step process of the shchita and zrika, the shchita was done correctly, and the zrika was done incorrectly. Now, what's the din in the lechem? Halechem kaddish, ve'ena kaddish. Divrei Rabbi, easy. It's kaddish, ve'ena kaddish. Was meint us? Let's see. We'll see soon. Bez Hashem. Kaddish ve'ena kaddish. Mefarish come on. Rabbi Elazar ber Shimon Aimet. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon. La'olam eina kaddish. It's not kaddish at all. Akshe yishchat lishman ve'yizrok damen shaloi lishman. So vibalt, you didn't do it correctly. The zrika shloi lishman. It's not going to be what it's ein kaddish. It's not going to be kaddish. Now, my time with the Rebbe. What's the reason Rebbe says it's totally in the shchita? Dichsiv ve'es ayil yaseh. This is speaking by the ayil of the nazir, guys. We said the nazirs are counted by two types of wafers. Ve'es ayil yaseh zevach shlomim laHashem al sala matzos. Right. So it says the ayil yaseh zevach shlomim laHashem al sala matzos lememra the shchita mikatsha zevach, guys. It's the act of zvicha that miskatsha al sal matzos. So they become, so just like by El Nazir, it's the shchita that goes ahead and is magdish the lechem. Who are din by the kivtzei aseretz? It's the act of shchita, not the zrika, that makes it kodesh. That's Rebbe. Rabbi Elazar b'Shimon says Yaseh. It says the word Yaseh. Akshe Yaseh kol asiyosav. It's not enough to shchita. You have to do all the asiyas, all the actions, all the meisim that are associated with what? With the preparation of the kivtzei atzeres. Is not limited to the shchita, but you have to do the zrika also. The kabbalah, the lacha, you have to, all the asiyas have to be done. So Rebbe Zevach Yaseh, Rabbi Elazar b'Shimon. Rebbe Nami Oksiv Yaseh. Rebbe says it says Yaseh. Says the Gemara Iksiv Zevach Yaseh. Says Rebbe, if it would say Zevach Yaseh, then Kiddukamit. Guys, so what does it mean? You did the Shchita Zevach, and then Yaseh, you got to finish the process, and then it's Kodesh, you'd be correct. It doesn't say first Zevach, then Yaseh. Hashta Dichsiv Yaseh, Zevach, it says Yaseh Zevach, meaning the Zevach comes after the Asiyah. B'ma Yaseh, what is the Asiyah that makes it Kodesh? Bizvicha, it's the Zevach. The fact that, guys, again, you have Zvicha, you have Zrika, you have these actions. Rebbe says only the Shchita is what's Magdish. Says Elazar Shimon the Zrika, meaning you need the Yaseh. Elazar Shimon focuses on the word Yaseh. Rebbe focuses on the word Zevach. What does Rebbe do with the Yaseh? He says the Yaseh is defining what is Yaseh, the word that comes afterwards. Zevach, the Shchita is the Yaseh, but the Zrika not. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Haksiv Zevach. What does he do with Rabbi Zevach? Mashma that it's according to you, Yasa includes the Zevach. But why specify that as Sia if you're telling me Yasa means all the actions that are associated with the Shchita, the Kalacha, the Kabacha, and the Srika, everything? Rabbi Elazar, Shimon, Aksiv Zevach, and we buy Leilach Rabbi Yochanan. Then Rabbi Yochanan, Hakol Moedim, Sai Rebbe, and Sai Rabbi Hakol Moedim, Setzarach Shei Lechem B'Shash Shchita. Everyone's Moeda that there has to be at the time of Shchita, there has to be the Zevach there. Okay, what does that mean? Like Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, it's the Asiya, it's the Zrika that goes ahead and is Magdish the Lechem. So watch this. I go ahead and I shech the kibsi atzeres, and lo and behold, I don't have any bright. I don't have any the shtei lechem. I don't have it. But I didn't do the zrika yet. Can I now bring the shtei lechem and do the zrika and say it's kodesh? Why not? According to Rabbi Elazar Shimon, if it's the zrika that does the job, why shouldn't it work? And you know what the answer is? Because it says zevach. It's got to be there at the time of the zvicha. It's got to be there at the time of the shchita. That's what it does. Einochinami le'inyan kedusha, that is to infuse the lechem with kedusha. That's the act of zrika. Masha enkein, to be there, to be part of the process, it has to be zevach. It has to be so. Rebbe, everything's in the zvicha. And according to Rabbi Elazar Shimon, it's in the zrika, but the word zevach teaches me that that it has to be there at the time, and if it's not there at the time, you can't bring it later. Okay, now, Rabbi said Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish. So if it's there b'shchita, it's Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish. And we say, as Kenny would say, Vos meint us. What does that mean, right? Vos meint us. What does it mean, Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish? Nishtahi and Nishtah. What does it mean, Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish? So very geschmack. That says the Gemara. My Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish, Abaya Omar, guys, everything's important here. Kaddish Ve'ena Gomor. It's Kaddish, but not completely. Says Rashi, we'll see later on. Rashi tells you, Mfarish to come on, meaning don't even think about it. Rava Amar, Kaddish ve'ena nitar. It's Kaddish, but you can't eat it. In other words, guys, we have Machloikis and Abaye v'Rava in one of Rebbe's cryptic words, Kaddish ve'ena Kaddish. It's cryptic. It's a Tati de Sasre. You're telling me it's Kodesh, but it's not Kodesh. What is it? Says Abaye, it's Kodesh, but not completely. Says Rava, it's Kodesh, but it doesn't matter the meat. It doesn't matter the lechem. It's Kodesh the lechem, but it's not mutter to eat. My binayhu, what's the difference between them? Ike binayhu, listen very closely. L'matis pidyoinoi. Is it possible to redeem them? Guys, outside. I go ahead, I'm magdish a carbon. I'm magdish a carbon, and I decide I don't want to bring this carbon. I want to bring another one. Can I take off the kedusha of that carbon by going and said it's worth $100? I'll take $100. Can I do that? Says Baruch, you can't do that. Why? Because it has kedushas haguf. Anything that has kedushas haguf, that's why our famous yiroy ad sheyistoyev. Go ahead, pasteurize it until it gets a mum. When it gets a mum, you could be paida. Something that has kedushas haguf, you can't be paida. Good. With that in mind. Now, again, says Abaya. Kaddish, but not completely. Says Rava, Kaddish, but you can't eat it. Good? Now, our girsa that we have, we're going to change, guys. It's amazing. I prepared this Gemara. I went through Rashi explains this girsa, and says Rashi, the girsa is Meshubish. The girsa Rashi says, we'll see it inside in a second. Okay, here's the way it reads. The nafkamina between Abaye and Rava in the explanation of Rebbe's Kaddish ve'ena Kaddish, L'Abaye loy tafis pidyainai, L'Abaye you can't be paida, L'Rava tafis pidyainai you could. Says Rashi, guys, not the get to Rashi. Says Rashi, L'Kach nira if you right before it gets wide, one line up. L'Kach nira l'Rebbe the hachi garsinan. For Lashon Hagenhu, and this is the correct Lashon. La'abaya tafis pidyaina. Guys, what's our gersa? Loy tafis pidyaina. Baruch, if you have your Gemara, underline this Rashi. Right? Because Rashi tells you, guys, this is This is don't be goris loy toughest pinyoina, be goris toughest pinyoina. What does that mean? Continues Rashi. Ularava loy toughest pinyoina. Labayid Omar Eino Gomer Adayin Leichal of Kedushas Haguf. It's Kaddish but not Gomer. It's Helig, but not so much, not completely. Ve'akati Shaykh Be Pidyon. Therefore, since it doesn't have full Kedushas Haguf, it's Shaykh to be paid it. Unehi de Kadshe good the Mekadshe Shchita B'miktsas. Even though the shchita of the kvasim are magdish the lechem to the extent that it doesn't go out lechulin, that it's not completely chulin. Miu akati mechusa gemar kedusha. You didn't complete the act of kedusha to infuse it with complete kedushas aguf, and therefore v'shayich be kedushas domim litvais pidyoinai. It's chayich kedushas domim that you can go ahead and be paida. Bikdusha. However, l'rava dama kodesh gamor, that kodesh ve'ena nitor, kedushas aguf le'shayich be'pidyon. V'im hitvis mayas be'pidyoinoi, ein it fasim. It's not going to be typhus. It doesn't work. The kivin de'ena yoytze mikdusha klal, eze kedusha tachal be'pidyoinoi. So Rashi changes the whole gerson, guys. It makes a lot of sense. Outside, guys, outside. Mamish masu kidvash, guys, outside. We have, you're going ahead and you're shechting lishma, you're shechting lishma, you're doing, and what? We want to know, you did a zrika shaloi lishma. What's the din? Says Rabbi, Kaddish ve'ena Kaddish. What does that mean? Says Abaya, Kaddish, but not completely. Ain't a gomor. Says Rava, Kaddish, but not nita dachila. My nafkamina, very geshmak. Who, according to who, there's more kedusha? Rava or Abaya? Clearly Rava, because Rava says it's Kaddish completely, but you can't eat it. Says Abaya, it's not completely. Now Geshmak. Let's say you want to be poida the lechem. Says Loit Abaya, you could. Why? Because it's not completely Kaddish. Kaddish is a guf to impede the act of redemption. Mashenkin, according to Rava, it's totally Kaddish. You just can't eat it. Memela is not shaykh pidyon. That again. But it's not. You just switched around the Gemara because the Gemara said "Later buy a loy toughest binyanoi," and you switched it around. Rashi's first explanation is to try to shtup in that the girsa that we have, and Rashi says it's mamish, it's mishubish. Where's the lashon? He says it. Okay, so very good. Says the Gemara. Guys, we're all good. I think it's very good. Yeah, you're good. Now, Bishleim Rava's explanation of Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish. We now have a very good nafkamina between Rabbi and Rabbi Elazar, Reb Shimon. Hainu Dika ben Rabbi, that according to Rabbi you won't be able to be paida. Rabbi Elazar, Reb Shimon, who says that what it's since the zrika wasn't done yet, you could be paida. El Labaya, my Ika ben Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Elazar, Reb Shimon. Lo Labaya that you could be paida. Sai Rebbe holds you could be paida, and Sai Rebbe Elazar Shimon holds you can be paida. My nafkamina, what's the halachic difference between what Rebbe and Elazar Shimon? And for the Gemara, it could be nayu leafsuli biyaitza. The nafkamina would be if you go ahead and you have a psul yaitza. Okay, according to Rebbe, according to Abaya and Rebbe, if you would take it out, it's puzzle because that kedushas aguf, it's puzzle. According to what? According to Rav Shimon, if you take it out, it's not puzzle because again, it's not kaddish. Like Rabbi that has kedusha, it's puzzle b'yaitzi. You take it out of the azar, it's puzzle. Like Rav Shimon that it didn't get kedusha, so it won't be puzzle. It won't be puzzle yaitza. Rashi. It could be na'ilef sula b'yaitza. LeRebbi nifsul b'yaitza. Like Rabbi who says it's kaddish ve'ena kaddish, you have psul yaitza if you took it out of the azara. Im yatza then lo yeh kasha lishchar alav kvasim acherim. You won't be able to go ahead and shecht others on it. However, l'razar of Shimon loy mifsal b'yaitza shlayod la kedushas aguf. It never came down upon a kedushas aguf, or that it should be psul yaitza el kedushas damim. Being yaitza pasalba, and therefore yaitza doesn't pasal. Ukesherim lishchar aleha, and therefore you'll be able to use it and shech kvasim acherim. V'zeh parashti. Listen to this. V'zeh parashti dechila shibush gamor. That I explained first is totally mishubish, right? Kid appreciates the L. That I gave you the first shot, that I explained like the lashon like toughest is shibu, guys. It's Meshubish. You got Rashi saying, I told you the wrong pshat. But Rashi was going with the girsa that he had. The guy, Rashi had the guts, guys. Rashi had the gestalt to go ahead and say that's not the right girsa. The girsa we have, we don't have an explanation for. Like the girsa we have, Abai is more kaddish than Rava, but that doesn't make any sense. So Rashi's saying that this is all explained for us. I think it's geschmack. We go, okay, nafkamina. Okay, so now, what do we have? A machloikis between Reb Loza, Reb Shimon, and Rebbe. If you did a zrika shaloi lishma, what's the halacha in the bread? Says Rebbe, it's kaddish ve'ena kaddish. Says Reb Loza, Reb Shimon, it's what? It's says Reb Shimon, it's not kaddish. He says loylam, it's not kaddish. Okay, now in Rebbe Gufa kaddish ve'ena kaddish, we have machloikis Abaye v'Rava, right? Loy Abaye, what? It's Loy Abaye that it's kaddish but not gamor. And light rubber, it's kodesh gomer, right? It's kodesh gomer, but you just can't go ahead and eat it. You just can't go ahead and eat it. That's what we have so far. The Gemara is going to ask a shaila, and the Gemara is very funny, guys. Here's the format of the Gemara. We're going to ask a question, and we're going to say it's not a question light Rebbe, and it's not a question light Rabbi Shimon. So who is it a question according to? We're going to introduce a third Tana. The Gemara then is going to go ahead and question. Really? Is that the pshat? And the Gemara conclude, yes, that is the pshat, but we're not going to answer the question. All we're going to do is establish that it is a question. Sometimes, you're asking a buyer, you wait for the answer. Over here, the question is whether the question is a question. And the whole shak of Vitaria is to figure out whether it's a good question or not. If that doesn't make any sense, let's listen to the Gemara, okay? See what happens. Okay, says the Gemara, Geshmak, guys. Hal kop, it's not easy Gemara. Boy, Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yitzchak, me Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Rabbi Shmuel bar Yitzchak, asked Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Kivtzei aseretz sheshachton lishman, yeshechlu lishman, v'zorku domen shaloi lishman, and then use the tzrika shaloi lishman. So by me Rabbi Shmuel bar Yitzchak, me Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Kivtzei aseretz sheshachton lishman. V'zarku domen shaloi lishman, oisei alechem mahu ba'achila. Okay, so this was our shaila before, which we had a machloikis between Rebbe and Rebbe Lazar Reb Shimon. Ali b'deman, who are you asking according to? This shaila, again, shchita you did okay, but the zrika was not okay. I ali with the Rebbe Lazar Reb Shimon, ha'ama zrika hi, the mekatsha, zrika is mekadeshit. So guys, what happened over here? You did a shchita lishma, and you did a zrika shaloi lishma. Mimela, it's not kaddish, so you can't eat it. Again, the heter achila is when it's done correctly. Your zrika is your matir, but you did it shaloi lishma, so it can't be a shaila according to him. Once you didn't do the zrika correctly, the lechem is out. Let Rabbi Shimon. I aliba de Rebbe, bein la abaya, bein la rava. Kaddish ve'ein aniter. Again, Rebbe says the ikar is what? The ikar is the shchita, right? You did a good shchita. So now it's kaddish, right? But both Abai and Rava said, true, it's kaddish, but you can't eat it. So what's your shaila? Mimanav shach. Light Rebbe Lazar, light Rebbe Lazar, Reb Shimon, it's nishkan lechem. Then it was never kaddish, so of course you can't eat it. And like Rebbe, according to both way Abaye learned and way Rabbi learned, right? It's kaddish, and in the same words, it's not mutter. It's not mutter achila. So it's a moot point, guys. It's a moot point. So now the Gemara is going to go ahead and find a third Tana that Rabbi Shmuel bar Yitzchak shaila was a shaila. Yeah. Again, the existing Tanoim that we have, it's not a shaila. We want to find a third opinion that perhaps. In other words, perhaps the zrika shaloi lishma, right, is not going to be an ikuv, and you would be able to eat the lechem. That's the Gemara. Ella aliba de haitana. It's the following Tana. The Tanya. The Tanya avua the Rabbi Yirmiyah baraba. Shtei alechem sheyoitza ben shchita lizrika. You went ahead, you took the shtei lechem, and you took it out. And l'chayre, it's still outside now. It's still outside. And you did a zrika, v'tzarku dama shal kvasim chutz lizman. So the shchita was okay, but you did a zrika to go ahead and eat the basar the next day. Why do we call that? Pigel. This is pigel, right? So in the first case, the zrika was shaloi lishma. That's the shaila. Here it's a shaila of what? Of pigel. So in addition to pigel, you had another psul. The lechem was puzzle because it was outside. Now the question is, does it shafa pigel in the basar? And if so, does that extend to the lechem or not? So again, you did a shchita, great. However, the problem was at the time of the shchita, right, the lechem was outside, and the time of the lechem was outside, you went ahead. Now it didn't have to be the shchita. Excuse me, it didn't have to be that the lechem was at the time the shchita. It could be not. It could be. It was. You shechted it correctly. You took then at that period in time, you took it and you went outside, and then the zrika was done right with the machshav of pigel. We want to know what's the status of that lechem. So now, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, ein belechem mishum pigel. There is no din of pigel in the lechem. Now, fellas, we know in Me'ilah, it's kaddish until it becomes mutter to the kahanim. So kodshe kedoshim, achatas and osham, that they can't eat it until the zrika. Once the zrika is done, that bevila goes off, it's mutter l'koyin. By kochem kalim, it's the opposite. Kochem kalim is mom and gavaya. It belongs to the individual. Until what? Until the zrika, and then the imurim become moil. It's the opposite. So over here, does a machshava, does it help the zrika? Does the zrika help for yaitza? So what does that mean? You went ahead and you did the zrika, shaloi lishma. You did this rika with the machshava of pigel. That zrika is not going to go ahead and allow you to. There won't be pigel over here. Why won't there be pigel over here? Because it was outside. It was asa. So the best way to understand this is we know that by pigel it has to be that's the only game in town. Since there's a psul yoitza over here, so the zrika wasn't a zrika. It remains me'ilah. It remains me'ilah. You're going to be moil. Why? Because it never was mutter to kahanim. And therefore, it won't create a din of pigel. That's according to Rebbe Elazar. That's not what Rebbe Eliezer. Here's what we need for the Shaila. Rebbe Akiva Omer, Yesh belechem mishum pigel. Yesh belechem mishum pigel. Meaning, that zrika that you did with the machshava of pigel, that creates a din of pigel in the basar, will create a din of pigel what? In the lechem. It went out. Mach nicht ois. You know why? Because that's a pesul machmas davar acher. It's not a psul intrinsic in the carbon, intrinsic in the lechem. You took it outside. In other words, it wasn't like a psul. I'm doing something in the carbon. I'm doing an act in the carbon that's going to go ahead and passel it. It's psul yaitza. The carbon's the carbon. I didn't have a shaloi lishma. I didn't do anything into the lechem. The lechem happened to be out at the time when I did a machshav of pigel. So that's not considered. I didn't kar mata k'mitzvasai. It's not considered like I didn't do it. Like there's another psul. It's not considered like I did another psul. Why? Because the psul is an independent psul. It's not a psul in itself. Guys, I'll give you a good example. I did the shchita lishma. I did the shchita al mine to do the zrika chutz lisman. I then did the kabbalah with the machshava of shaloi lishma. It's not pigel. But those two machshavas are intrinsic in the carbon, right? I went ahead, I did a zrika, I did a shchita to go ahead and be zoyrik for pigel, chutz lisman. And then the next thing I had either chutz l'makoim or I had shaloi lishma. It's not pigel, but that's an example of not being mata mitzvah. So why? Because both of those actions had to do in the four avodas adam. What's the psul over here? It's a psul yaitza. Good, it's a psul, but it's a zaitik psul. You hear the chilik, fellas. Do I have bobblehead over here? You hear the chilik. It's a very, very important chilik, right? Over here, psul yaitza. You're right. It's a psul. Says Rabbi Elazar, it's a problem. Says Rabbi Eliezer, it's a problem. Says Rabbi Akiva, it's not a problem. I want to be kar of mata k'mitzvasai. I did. It's a zaitik psul. Ain't kar mata k'mitzvasai would mean in the avodah of the dam. I had another machshava aside from chutz l'sman. I had a chutz l'makoim or I had a shaloi lishma. That is a problem. But if it's davar acher, that's not a problem. Okay, Now, it's important. Rabbi Kiva is the one that we got to know, guys. Good? Again, Rabbi Kiva is the one we got to know. So now, this Tana, Rav Sheshes, Hanoihi, Kirebis, now, Rabbi Kiva Yesh Melechem Mishum Pigel. Now, so now, Rav Sheshes, Hani Tanoi, Kirebis Svirilahu. These Tanoim, both Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva, hold like Rabbi, that since I did the Zrika Shaloi Lishma, right, it's Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish. It's Kaddish Ve'ena Kaddish. Now, guys, what does Rabbi Akiva hold, therefore? Rabbi Akiva holds that what? That the pigel, there's a din in pigel in the what? In the carbon. So my Zrika was a good Zrika. The Amar Shchita Mekadsha, Shchita is Mekadesh, not like Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon, but Shchita is Mekadesh. So therefore, it was the lechem was Kodesh, and then I took it out. The lechem was Kodesh, and then I took it out. Rebbe Eliezer Litamei, Rebbe Eliezer goes according to his reasoning that it's possible. The Amar Ein Zrika Mayelis Liyaitza. Again, you didn't. In order for pigel to be pigel, it's got to be squeaky clean aside from the pigel. It's not squeaky clean. Rabbi Kiva Tamei Damar Zurika Mayelis Liyaitza. Zurika Taka helps Liyaitza. What does that mean? Despite the fact that it's Yaitza, my act of Zrika creates a pigel. My act of Zrika is not going to be impeded. The fact that it's Yaitza, because Yaitza is Psula Davar Acher. Amid base. Ditnan Emuri Kochim Kalim Sheyaitza Lifnei Zrika. Emurim Kochim Kalim that go out before Zrika. Damim, Rebbe Eliezer Oimer, says Rebbe Eliezer, Ein Mayelis Behen, your Zrika is not going to help. Vein Chayav Lem Mishum Pigel. Therefore, if there's going to be no din of pigel, nice of a tamei, no, but there would be a din of me. There's no mila. Why is there no mila? Because it's kache, it's mum and bailim, and you never had a Zrika to take that off. And since it was always mum and bailim, it's blight mum and bailim, and therefore there's no pigel. Rabbi Akiva Oimer, Moy Alin Behem. No, it's kache kalim. When you did a Zrika, there's a din of Meila, because now it's no longer mum and bailim. The chayav alem mishum pigel, v'naisa v'tamei. Now, and you chayav v'shumat, pigel, naisa v'tamei. Now, mid the Zrikas pigel kavel alechem, when the Zrika of the pigel is kavel alechem, the pigel, you have a gersa change over here. It must be that what? It must be kibasar kimay basar azevach. Let's be goyris that it's the same. Bepigel kiyaitze bebasa zrika shalei lishma nami shayel lechem. Ideal meluchum. Okay, guys, outside. Let me give it to you outside. Is this psul yaitza? Yeah. Like Rabbi Akiva, did my act of basar go ahead create pigel in this, even though it was psul yaitza? Again, says Rabbi Akiva, it's considered I did it correctly because this is a zaytik psul. So just like the basar is pigel, the lechem is pigel. Yes? Right? Just like the basar is pigel, the lechem is pigel, right? Yeah. All right. Says Rabbi Akiva, my psul yaitza is not a problem. It's a side problem. It's not like in the carbon itself, right? Therefore, when I did a shchita lishma, it went outside. I did a zrika lishma. Good. What's my problem now is a din of shaloi lishma, correct? Good. Can I eat the meat? When I did a shchita shaloi lishma, could I eat the meat? Yes, I could. Therefore, in what's a shaila? If I did again, what's a shaila? A shaila. This again, you want to know the din of the. Can you eat the lechem? I did a shchita again, going back to the original shaila. I did a shchita lishma. I did a zrika shaloi lishma. Can I eat the lechem? Good. So, guys, let's make an analogy. Look at me. This is SAT. Please look at me. Just like le'inyan pigel, I'll give the lechem the same din as the meat, right? Even though what it was it's psul pigel. Hu adin by le'inyan zrika shloi lishma, since the meat is mutter to eat, the lechem will be mutter to eat. This is the shaila according to this opinion. According to this opinion, oy dilma, or maybe, no. Maybe we say lechumra, but not lekula. To say, fellas, the meat is pigel and the lechem is pigel, I'm being machmer in the bread. I'm being just like this. I'm being machmer in the meat. I'm being machmer in the bread. Over here, it's going to come out of kula. If you treat the lechem like the basar, it's going to come a kula that you could eat the lechem. Maybe we don't say that. So Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Shaila was according to this Tana of the Brisa by Pigel. So it's telling Pigel to Shaloi Lishma. So I'll say it succinctly now, guys. Watch. This is my SAT. Pigel, Basar. Pigel, Yaitza, right? Lechem Yaitza. Shaloi, not Pigel, Lechem. Shaloi Lishma. Kasha, lechem kasha. Oiloi. L'inyan ti mechayev mi pigel, yes. To mata this because of this? No. That's the shaila. That's the shaila according to the Gemara. Okay, so says the Gemara.
What time?
What? One more time.
You say it one more time.
Sure, no problem. What's the shaila of Rav Shmuel Rav Yitzchak? He wants a shaila. I did a shchita lishma, I did a zrika shaloi lishma. I want to know what's the din of the lechem. Can I eat the lechem? That's what I want to know. Simply, you went ahead, you did a shchita lishma, and you did a shchita was done correctly, and then you went ahead and did a zrika incorrectly, shloi lishma. Can you eat that lechem? Can you eat that lechem? We said according to Rabbi, according to Elazar of Shimon, right? You could not eat it. It doesn't make a difference. Like Elazar of Shimon, you can't eat it because there never was a heta, because the zrika was shloi lishma. Like Rabbi, Kaddish Veina Kaddish, you can't eat it. Say according to Bayis and to Rabba, because no matter how Kaddish it is, but the Shchita ain't a niter. It never was mutter. Al Yedei what? There was nothing to matter it. Okay? Now we have an opinion that maybe, here's the shaila according to this person. We have a shaila of what? You did a Shchita Lishma, and you had, inside you had what? No, you did a Shchita with the Shma. It went outside then after the shchita, and now you had a zrika with the machshav of pigel. Is there a din of pigel in the lechem or not? Says Rabbi Eliezer, there's no way. There's no pigel. Says Rabbi Akiva, there is a din of pigel. Why? You didn't do it correctly? That's a side psal, right? Not doing correctly, we spoke out nicely. Is a din in the you shech the shloi l'shma. So now what do you see? Like Rabbi Akiva, you see something very interesting. The lechem is going to get the same din as the basa. Just like my shchita, just like the zrika, will shaf a din and pigel in the basar, who adin is shaf a din and pigel in the lechem. So you see it's the same. So in Ashayla also. What's Ashayla? You want to know whether you want to know whether you could eat it or not. L'chayra, you did a zrika shalei l'shma. So it wasn't done like Rabbi Akiva, who says the basar equals the lechem. Who didn't over here, even though the zrika was shaloi l'shma, so just like you can eat the basar, right? So too you should be able to eat the lechem. Oh no, maybe not. This is the third man d'amah that this is the shaila of Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yitzchak. Or no, so what's the shaila, guys? If the bus is like the lechem's like the bus, so it's no shaila, you can eat it, right? No, there's a big difference. When did we equate the lechem to the basa? That was by pigel. The basa was and we are machmir. Guess what? The lechem's like this. There's a din of pigel. You're gonna karvus if you eat it. Over here, that sushtel is going to create a kula. Since I can eat the meat, despite the fact that this is yaitza, I'll be able to eat the lechem. So therefore, maybe not. That's the shaila. So maybe, that's the shaila. I wouldn't be able to eat them. I had to say the shaloi lishma. It's not shal yaitza. It's not shal yaitza. It's shaloi lishma. That the shaloi lishma I threw in the yaitza. Forget the yaitza. It's just a question of what of shaloi lishma mattering lechem. It's not yaitza mattering lechem. We're not going to say it matters lechem. I said the word yaitza. It's incorrect. Is that good now? It's better now? 100%. Okay. So now, according to this, fellas, this is predicated upon a third shita. What happens if I tell you it's that this machlokes is not machlokes a third shita? Then it's a non-starter. Then the shaila is again, because we said like Rabbi or like right. Okay, now says the Gemara the following: Maskav Papa umimai. How do you know the chiasinu abroi pligi? Well, how do you know they're arguing when it's outside, guys? And when it's outside, then it's a psul yaitza. And when it's outside, and then there's a svar to say that that the lechem eats the meat equals the meat. Then the svar to say the lechem equals the meat, and therefore the shleishma is equal. Dilma bidis inu abroi the kuliyam alei pligi. Maybe when it's outside, everyone would agree. Everyone would agree. Even Rabbi Akiva, the ein zrika mayelis liyaitza. In other words, this whole shiloh was according to Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva l'chayra equated the meat of the outside to inside, meaning to the it's not outside the inside. The meat of yaitza to sul shloi l'shma to yaitza. Right? You're equating the two. Maybe that's not the machlokes. Maybe the machlokes is when it was brought inside. Maybe the whole time it was outside. It's no good, guys. If it's speaking the whole time it's outside, it's no good. You have no man de omar to equate the two. The equation is it's wrong outside and it's right inside. I'll equate the two. But that's only according to Rabbi Akiva. What happens if Rabbi Akiva would say it's puzzle, the Zrika doesn't help? Guys, look at me. Like Rabbi Akiva, you don't have an equation anymore. If it's outside, maybe Rabbi Akiva's maida that the Zrika won't help if it's outside. Maybe when he says it helps when you bring it back inside. If that's the case, then you don't have a man de Omar for the Shaila of Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yitzchak. Says the Gemara, Dilma b'da'asinu abroi t'kuli amalei pligi. When it's outside, everyone agrees, right, that what? The ein zrika mayelis, liyaitza. Good, even Rabbi Akiva would say that. Memela, you don't have a man de Omar who says that the lechem should be mutter. Ubahada alina pligi. And the machlokes is when you bring it back inside. The Rebbe Eliezer savala kerebi. Rebbe Eliezer holds like Rebbe. The Amar shchita mikatsha shchita mismagdashit. And then you took it outside, the ifsalu b'yaitza, and then it became pasal b'yaitza. Good, very good. It was kodesh. It had kedushas aguf, and now I took it outside. What happens then? Forget say it's gone, guys. If it has kedushas aguf, it goes out. It's gone. So in other words, if Rebbe Eliezer says it's asa, it's pasal. You know why? Because it had total kedushas aguf. Because he holds like Rebbe. Rabbi Akiva, who says that what? No, it's not totally gone. He holds like Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon. And it wouldn't be what? And you wouldn't have a pul yaitza. So now, guys, if there is no third shita, it's only Rebbe and Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon, then you don't. The shaila is not a shaila. Then Rebbe Elazar, then the shaila of Shmuel ben Chanina is not a shaila. Again, we needed a third Tana. Because like Rebbe and like Reb Shimon, there's no shaila whatsoever. Again, like Reb Shimon, it's not kodesh, and like Rebbe, it's kodesh, but you can't eat it. So if you're going to tell me that this and Rav Sheshes brought a raya machlokes tanoim, and we want to say that's a third Tana, right? Once you say it's not a third Tana, that it's Rabbi Akiva and Reb Shimon, then we're back to first base. You have no question. It's not an easy Gemara. Let me go through it one more time, guys. One more time. The paper trail. Here's the paper trail. In order for Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon Shaila to be a Shaila, it can't be according to Rebbe, and it can't be according to Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon. Why? Because like Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, once you didn't have his Rika, there's no Heta. Like Rebbe, you do it's Mutta, but it says it's Kaddish, but not Bachila. So it can't be a Shaila according to them. So is it a Shaila to the third guy? What's the third guy? The third guy who says that what? Like Rabbi Akiva, if you go, no, it's Rabbi Akiva. Like Rabbi Akiva, who holds that Zrika helps for Yaitza, maybe it helps. So Loi Lishma would also help, and therefore you will be able to eat it because even though there's Zrika Shloi Lishma. What happens if there's no third guy? What happens if the machlokes of that brisa is Rebbe and Rebbe Elazar Shimon? Then you're back to first base. There's no shaila. And now we have the explanation of that. What's the explanation of that? Why would the Yaitza, why would it be? In other words, it was outside, everyone would hold it's no good. It's back inside. So you did a shchita and you took it outside. If it's Kaddish, you're off gehakt tzaris. It doesn't help. If it wasn't Kaddish, then there's backsies, right? Very good. Loitem the Omer that says what it's puzzle, Rebbe Eliezer. No, why it's puzzle says Rebbe Eliezer because he holds like Rebbe that what does the act of kedushas of the lechem is the shchita. Once I did a shchita, it's kaddish kedushas aguf. Once I took it out, no backsies. Light Rebbe Akiva, no. Rebbe Akiva holds like brothers of Shimon. In order to make it kaddish for kedushas aguf, you need a zrika. So I didn't do a zrika yet. I did a shchita. I took it outside. Big deal. I brought it back in. But once it's Rebbe and Raza B'Shimon, you don't have a third Tana, and therefore the Shaila of Rebbe Laza of Shimon Rebbe Yitzchak is this kind of Shaila. Guys, we good? Okay. Baruch Hashem. Says the Gemara. Hi Mai. If you're going to hold that Rebbe Akiva holds like Rebbe and not like Rebbe Laza B'Shimon, the Amar Shchita Mekatcha Lahu, Haim to come Rebbe Akiva, the Koche Lahu B'Shchita, the Asis Rika and Kavala b'pigel. Comes very good. Shchita was good. Comes along the pigel, it comes along the srika and it's kaveya b'pigel. Eli amik Rebbe Laza Reb Shimon Tzvirulei that what that it's the zrika that does is kaveya. The amar zvicha loy mikatsha, but what zrikas pigel me mikatsha. The zrikas pigel would it be mikadashit? 1 second. If I have a zrika of pigel. Va'amit Rav Gidl Amarav zrikas pigel eina mevil idei meila. Right? A zrika of pigel cannot go ahead and take off mila or create mila. What does that mean? Mila eina mevil idei mila beimuri kotche kalim. Kotche kalim again is mum and bailim, and therefore since the zrika of pigel wasn't a good zrika, it's not going to create pigel mila. Ve'eina might see midei mila the basi kotche kedashim. So therefore, Loit Rev Gidel in the name of Rav, right? Therefore, it must be the way you learn right. In other words, the question that it's a third Tana, yes, it's a third Tana. Again, because Rabbi Kiva would not hold that it shops a pigel, and he does. So Memela, it must be correct that you said that there's a third Tana. On that, the Gemara says, Lavi Toisif the Rav Gidel, Amarav, wasn't he slugged up? So if he was slugged up, Memela, there is what? There is not a third Tana, and Memela the Kasha. So now we're holding. So let's just that. You hold that it's a Kasha. You held that what? You held that. What do you say? It's a Shkamen. Haimai. Okay. So now, if there's another way to learn that Rabbi Akiva was the Tana, that Rabbi Akiva holds like Rabbi, then it's a Kasha. If Rabbi Akiva holds like Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yaakov, it's not Rabbi Shmuel is not a Kasha. The Gemara says, Haimai, it must be he holds like Rabbi, and it is a Shaila. And the Gemara answers, no, there's no Raya. Maybe he holds like Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, and Memela guy is the Kasha of Rabbi Shmuel, but we don't have a third Tana to say that Rabbi Gidel is Shaila is a Shaila. Very good. Guys, let me just read to you what the Shrinantam says. Conclusion. Here's the conclusion. If Rav Gidel was slugged up, bitmiya ulachein ein lo achiach mimenu. You can't prove the chazanu lekushas the shel Rav Papa al Rav Sheshes. We go back to Rav Papa's Shiloh and Rav Sheshes. Maybe Rabbi Akiva holds like Rav Elazar, Rav Shimon, right? V'lo muvan lefi eze deya yistapek Rabbi Shimon by Yitzchak, and therefore we don't know according to who he was mislipik according to. Okay, I'm just gonna go through the paper trail again and conclude. Again, it's not an easy Gemara. We had a shaila. According, we want to know if you go ahead and you do a shchita l'shma, zrika shaloi l'shma, can you eat the bread? Can you eat the shtei lechem? Like Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon, it was a non-starter. You never could eat it because you never had a zrika. Like Rebbe, it was a non-starter. Why? Because Sai couldn't buy a Sam Kod Rav is Kaddish Vena Kaddish. We wanted who Shaila is according to. There's a third opinion. Good. There's a third opinion. That third opinion is based upon what? Sugi of Pigel. Good. Says the Gemara. Okay, according to that third opinion, just like by Pigel, you could eat there's a din in Pigel in that. so too by Shaloi Lashma there's a din and you could eat it. Says the Gemara, well, no, maybe it's a Chumrah. So right now, we know who the Shai is according to. Fred the Gemara, 1 second, you don't know. Maybe Rabbi Akiva holds like Lezer B'Shimon. Says the Gemara, no, he doesn't hold it. It can't be. So, why? Because it has to be that the Zrik of Pigel had a Shafat Pigel. On that, the Gemara says, no, he was slugged up. So Mamela, if that's the case, we're holding the Shilas in this kind of Shaila. Okay, let's finish up. Boy mine Rav Yomi Rav Zera. Kivsei atzeres sheshachton lishman yeshechted them lishman. Everything's great. V'ovad alechem. Now, guys, remember the machlokas between Ben Nanas and Rabbi Akiva. Ben Nanas says that the keves is the yikah. Rabbi Akiva says the lechem is the yikah. But hakol moedim, once the shechita was done, then they are ma'akiv, then they're gebunden. So right now it's a non-starter. We're in trouble. Once you did the shechita and the lechem was there at that time, it's kaddish. And if you lose it, the carbon's puzzle. Okay? So I know I can't bring this carbon correctly. Guys, I lost the lechem. I can't bring it lishma. But what's the din of shaloi lishma? Kasha. So this is a geshmak shaila. I messed up. I lost the lechem. So I can't bring it the right way. But at least let me do something, right? Let me bring it shaloi lishma. I'll be able to eat the meat. Good. Amalei. So said Reb Zera to Reb Yirmiyah, Yesh lecha dava she'ena kasha l'shmai, the kasha shaloi l'shmai. L'shmai you can't bring it because you lost the bread. So you're going to bring it shaloi l'shmai. Says the Gemara, v'loi, why not? For a Pesach koidim chatzos, Pesach before chatzos you can't bring it. De'ena kasha l'shmai, the kasha shaloi l'shmai, but you can bring it as a shlamim. Says the Gemara, hachi kamin Allah. Yesh lecha dava she'nira l'shmai, v'nitcha milishmai, v'ena kasha l'shmai, the kasha shaloi l'shmai. Guys, outside. When I brought, look at me, please. When I bought this kifsei atzeres and this bread was available, was that a kosher carbon? Beautiful. Now I go ahead and lose it, right? You want to tell me that what? You could bring a shaloi l'shma? What's your raya? Pesach in the morning? Pesach was never nitcha. It never was this amount of a shchita yet. It's the morning. So it's the morning. It's a carbon Pesach in the morning. Before this amount of chila, there is a shchita. Therefore, it wasn't nitcha. Memela, I bring this to shlamim. I can understand over here, but it was seen lishmai when the bread was there. It was lost. Now you want to go ahead and bring it shaloi lishma? Is there anything that was lishma, nitcha, and that? And you can't tell me Pesach because Pesach was not nitcha because it wasn't this man of the shchita yet. So that's a shaila.
So you're telling a Kohen to like I want to have that challah there. So bring a lo lishma. In other words, he should do something incorrectly.
The chal is out. The chal is out.
So what are you telling?
You lost the chal. You
lost chal. So you're telling him do lo lishma so I can matter what I have over here.
I can matter the meat, right? Instead of burning it.
I'm saying
instead of burning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're understanding the Gemara's question as an emotional thing. Emotionally, how's it possible to go ahead and say? Now, it doesn't say you're doing something wrong. It doesn't say I'm bringing the carbon, not l'shem. In other words, this carbon itself is a shlamim for a kachik kadashim. I'm telling you, bringing the shlamim kachim kalam. What did you do wrong? You did everything's okay. Fred the Gemara, is it really so? Can you do such a thing? That's what the Gemara wants to know.
Okay.
So vari Pesach aches manoi b'shar yemos hashana. Right. Rashi has the girsa before chatzos. Let's be guys before chatzos. Pesach b'shar yemos hashana koidim chatzos. Right. So you have. It was koidim chatzos of arba asa. It's not kosher lishma. Good. Then it comes ben arbayim, and now it's kosher lishma. And now you bring it as a shlamim. So you have the same case. It was nira for a Pesach. Then, just one second. You have a korban Pesach. A korban Pesach that you will makriv before Chatzos. You can't bring it as a korban Pesach before Chatzos, but you could bring it shaloi l'shma after Chatzos. You could bring it like a shlamim. So this Pesach before Chatzos, again, it's speaking what? You were makriv it before Chatzos as a shlamim. 1 second, I got to make sure. 1 second, let me 1 second, guys. Okay, so now let's go through it. What's the shaila? You have a shchita lishma. You did a shma. You lost the bread. Can you do zurika shaloi lishma? So Hesh, you're not doing a shchita. You did the shchita already. The question is, can you do this rika shaloi lishma to save the carbon? It's a little different than the way you learned. You were learning you shechted it already, and therefore it was connected to the bread, and therefore you can't complete it correctly. Can I do the zrika incorrectly? If you don't do the zrika correctly, yes, you're going to burn it. Can I do the zrika incorrectly? Shaloi l'shma to matter it. Bachila. Good. Let's see one more time. Let's go. Let me do it one more time. Boy minei Rabbi Yomi Rabbi Zera. Kivtzei atzeres sheshachtan l'shman. And as you shechted it, the bread was there. So right now it's connected to a bread, and every woman hold, if you lose the bread, the carbon's gone. The avad alechem, and the lechem's gone. So can you bring the carbon? No, it's finished. The zrika you can't do l'shmai. Ma'u sheyizrok dama shaloi l'shmai. Can you do the zrika shaloi l'shmai for the purpose lahater basa ba'achila? Guys, amalei so said Rabbi Zera to Rabbi Yirmiyah, yesh lecha davar she'eina kosher l'shmai, the kosher shaloi l'shma. How's it possible that it's not, you couldn't bring it as l'shmai, but you can bring it shaloi l'shma for a Pesach koydem chatzos. The eina kosher l'shmai, you can't bring it l'shmai, the kosher shaloi l'shmai, but you could bring it as a shlamim. So over here also, do the shlamim l'shmai I can't do, but zrika shaloi l'shmai, the same as shlamim, regular shlamim I could. Hachi kamin yesh chadav shenira l'shmai, it was in the ballpark to the shmai when you shechted it. To complete it, it would have been good had you not lost the bread. And therefore you could have done the zrika. V'nitcha milishmai, at this point in time when the bread is gone, it's out of the ballpark of lishmai. Ve'ena kasha lishmai, and it's right, and you can't do it. For kasha shaloi lishma, that you should do zrika shaloi lishma. V'loi for a Pesach achas manoi b'shayim os hashana. So therefore, it was a Pesach, it was a korban Pesach, and it's after the Zman passed. So now, once the Zman passes, you can't bring it as a Pesach. So it was Nira as a Pesach. Now it's Nitcha as a Pesach, and you still can bring it as a Shlamim. So who are in over here? Let's say it was Nira to bring it as a korban Sibor, as a Shlamim. Now it's Nitcha, but you should, just like the Pesach, you can bring it as a Shlamim. Who are in over here? You should be able to go ahead and do this Rika Shaloi L'Shmai. It says, Namahachi Kamina. Yesh chadav shenira l'shmai, v'nishchat l'shmai, v'nitchem l'shmai. Guys, over there, it was geschachten. By the Pesach, you didn't shecht it. You let this man pass by. It was Pesach. You should have brought it as a Pesach. You didn't. Now it passes by. So nearer to be brought as a Pesach, you didn't shecht it. Now you're going ahead, Rod. So this is different. I don't find it. I shechted this already. I shechted it l'shem. Kivsei atzeres. Now I lost the bread. It was nearer to kivsei atzeres. Now can I go ahead, what? And do a zrika shaloi l'shmoi? Don't bring a raya from Pesach. Pesach, I didn't shecht it yet. Right? I didn't shecht it yet. You hear the difference? I didn't shecht it yet. Hachi chamina. Yesh chadav shenira l'shmoi v'nishchat. Underline v'nishchat l'shmoi v'nitchem l'shmoi v'ena kasha l'shmoi v'kasha shaloi l'shmoi v'loi v'hari toida. By toida, we said in the beginning of the parak, guys, you shechted it, and the bread broke. You can do this rika, correct? L'chayra, guys, l'chayra, it can't be bought as a toida anymore, right? So what's the answer? Shiny toida the Rachmana karya shlamim. The reason you can bring it is a special waiver because the Torah calls it a shlamim. Memela, your shaila is not a shaila. You can't bring it shalei lishma. We don't find anything. Reb Zeri says that we don't find anything in the realm that if you bring it shecht lishma that you possibly could do with zrika. I toida, the Torah calls it a shlamim, so therefore I can bring it as a shlamim. I'm sorry I didn't get that last piece to the end.
Oh yeah, thank you.